Nuclear missile ready.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting rendition of the Alpha Pro series. Today, old legends battle new blood for control of the galaxy. That's right, it is the legendary QXC. First a pro gamer, a college student as well, but now he's making awesome board games, but he is back with a vengeance. And of course, Starkiller, the NA Zerg looking to make the big name for himself by taking out this amazing player. So Starkiller really has his work cut out for him, and I think this is going to be an epic series, and I cannot wait to show it to you guys. So we are just going to get started here. Gonna get this map underway. And we're going to get these players into the lobby, ready and willing. So, it is going to be TVZ, a matchup that I'm sure a lot of you have seen a lot of recently. And essentially, what this is going to be is a best of 9 series. And what's basically going to happen with that is we're going to have the first 7 maps of the ladder pool, no repeats, before we're going to go back into the series for the last 2 maps if necessary. So let me just get these guys good to go. And we got one ready. Now we're just waiting for the second one. Hello, Romsley in the chat. It is good to see everyone here. And you know what? Just because I'm so glad to see you guys, I'm just going to start this game for you without too much of a little wait. Because I know you guys are excited and raring to go. So just let this lobby load up. It's all going to be on the NA server for the first time. Both of these guys play on the same server, so that is always exciting because there won't be any lag, any ping issues. So it is just skill. That's the only thing that's going to happen in these games. And here we go. Without further ado, spawning in the bottom position. If I can turn my hotkeys to the right one, they actually are, but not working. Oh well. It is QXC. And his opponent. Like I said, he's got his work cut out for him. It is Starkiller. So some fun facts about QXC. He is a very unorthodox player. He always has been. Is really good with his experimentation, and just like that, he's going to be experimenting with winning with a quick 2 racks build. There's no third SCV, so this is not an all-in by any standards, but it is super aggressive. Behind this, if it fails, he's going to be very hard pressed to get out of it, but he will have a little bit more wiggle room just because he's not getting that third CC. Now, Starkiller, he has some little inkling that something crazy is going to be going on in this series, so he did throw down that spawning pool gas first, looking to be a bit of an aggressor of his own. Now, one of the other reasons that this is going to be great is because, like I said, QXC is very unorthodox and very experimental. So is Starkiller. He is the epitome of the North American Zerg. He knows what he's doing, but he just does it in the most crazy manners. And just like that, we are going to see actually a little bit of a build order fluke here for QXC, because since that Roach Warren is up, this will be a lot less powerful versus those Roach Ravagers that Starkiller does tend to enjoy. QXC is going very hard on this. He's even brought those extra SCVs for buffering purposes, and we'll have to see. Will Starkiller just abandon this position here on the lower base and defend up top, or will he try and defend that? Right now, it does look like he is just going to sack that for right now, getting the cancel, so that is a good little mineral income boost. But it's really going to come down to these roaches. Has to be careful with them. Losing even one is just going to be very painful for him right now. He needs to get that bunker to stop, and the cancel is forced out of QXC. This one Ling, he's trying to be the hero of the day. It's not working for him too well. He is going to have to get out of there. Probably going to be a vital part of the defense, though, just because every unit counts when you're being cheesed. So now with those Ravagers out, this bunker is not too long for this world. All the SCVs have been pulled back, so there will be no repairs going down. QXC still kind of trickling units into it, but that's not really what you want to be doing at this point, because you should just be ready for your next stage in the game. He has that third racks down, and now it all comes down to what's his next strategy going to be. Still no stim on the way, so the fact that he does not have a factory is a little bit worrying here as you do need a little bit more tech to deal with roaches in the early game. But for right now, he looks to be in a pretty decent position. I don't think Ravagers just solo will do very well for him. Because you really do need a little bit of a roach buffer in order to get anything done. These are more just to be annoying and kind of put the fear of the swarm into the front base of QXC. I love that he's still producing units here as well. He's trying to catch the army on the back burner. Does have a little bit of a sneak attack coming out here. There is nothing being built for QXC, so this is actually a nice little counterplay, forcing the roaches to come back home. So already we're just seeing mind game after mind game out of these players, just looking to outdo each other in the crazy factor. Back when QXC was in his prime, Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, you know, it was still kind of the Wild West. Legacy of the Void, even more so. So the fact that he's doing so well after coming back from a very long hiatus is absolutely cool to see. And for you younger guys in the chat, QXC was a huge Heart of the Swarm player, and Wings of Liberty rather, excuse me, who retired back in 2015 to go make Eon's End, a board game that he really put a lot of heart and effort into, and I think today it actually has 3 expansions. That sounds about right. And honestly, it does look like a really fun game, so if you want to support him, you could always check that out. Or you could also do all the Matcherino quests that are on the Matcherino page for this match, to add a little bit more to the prize pool and maybe give him a little bit more dollar to convince him to come back to StarCraft. It is a bit of a bribe, after all. That Spire on the way. QXC, has he seen it coming? He has not. So for all he knows, this is still a very heavy ground-based army, and he doesn't really have much anti-air. Still no stim on the way, so there's no bio. And it's really just a couple of cyclones which can get chased down relatively easy. Back's going down, not the biggest of deals. It does not look like QXC wanted to use it too much, but it will be... Actually, never mind, he does have more at home. I was about to say that's going to matter when he wants to ramp up his production. But it looks to be one of QXC's experimental builds here. He is going for what looks to be a mech bio combo attack, looking to exact huge revenge on his opponent for delaying his cheese. Third CC gets delayed as well. These Mutalisks have nothing to counter them right now. They just went straight across the map and are doing a fantastic job just getting pickoffs where he can, but they have to be careful of those cyclones now. Good use of the terrain, making sure that all of them get out of there. 7 workers going down in that attack. So Starkiller really going to make QXC work for anything here. Even getting that third base is going to be a big hassle, since these mutas don't plan on dying anytime soon. And it looks like Starkiller just wants to keep QXC contained heavily here. This doesn't look like a very scary Zerg army, but it is a very annoying one to kind of clean up with the composition that QXC is going for right now. And it does look like he is indeed just going to be going for bio, which is understandable. These Cyclones will help out now, as long as he keeps them in position. And actually, Starkiller is just pumping them out, so you know this is there's still a very big excuse me guys, I'm losing my words. English is only my first language. Banshee gonna come in here, try and do a little bit of damage, but the Mutalisks just keep getting forced back now. They have to really kind of just force those Cyclones out of position. Now that Stim is going to be complete as well, I'm worried about how useful they're going to be in the later stages of the game. The thing about Mutalisk compositions is a lot of the time they do kind of force you to stay on layer a little bit longer than you want to as a Zerg player just because they're very gas intensive units. But we do see starkiller is very comfortable where he is. 14 drones just completed on the production tab. And he's just keeping his opponent stuck on those bases. That's a bit of a mistake. I've seen starkiller make this a few times before. You really don't want to be moving too many overlords out on the map because you can get supply blocked very easily. Just trying to chase down the cyclones as well. If those are taken out, a lot of heavy firepower is gone in this base, but chases a little bit too far, loses a couple too many Mutalisks. But even then, he doesn't really care, even going for the very aggressive snipes, just killing off anything he can while bringing the Ravagers as well. I'm worried for QXC right now. It does look like he is getting a bit overwhelmed. Third base going down, and GG is called. So QXC dropping the first map to the New Blood Starkiller, who, by the way, is the Pizza Pie absolute god. So if you haven't seen him in the Pizza Pie tournaments, you really should. His games are very fun to watch. But that is going to bring us into our first sponsor of the night. If you've noticed the hat and the shirt, 24 Hour Fitness sponsors the Alpha Pro Series and Alpha X as a whole. Whether you're just there, whether you're an early bird or a night owl, they got something for everyone. They allow you to make your own plan, and they make you stick to it. So check them out, complete some of the sponsor quests, and get 7 free days. That's 7 free days of workouts, which, if you guys know, a lot of gyms don't let you do that, and gyms can get expensive. But 24 Hour Fitness is affordable, and it's a very good sponsor, and I'm really glad to see them here in esports. Gonna get the second game up, and I made a small mistake, so the match arena you're seeing is not what you should be seeing, so let me just fix that for you guys real quick. Alright. And next up is going to be King's Cove. Another fun map. The rush distance is a bit big. So we're going to get these guys onto it as quickly as possible. But I hope you guys are having a great night. And Romsley, that is correct. The Pizza Pie Cups are an OSC event, and starkiller does play in a lot of them. And he's won a ton of them as well. So he wins a lot of pizzas, which is good for him because being a StarCraft player gets kind of expensive sometimes, you know? You got to spend a lot of time practicing. That's your internet costs. So why don't we help him out, guys? In the match arena, like I said, you can add free money. There's codes, there's sponsor quests, you can buy merchandise, and all of that goes towards these players. Currently, it's an 80-20 split. And so, let's see who gets... Oops. Okay, never mind, guys. Wrong race. And pardon me for that. Just a bit of an oops. Let's get these guys back into it. Let's keep on rolling. starkiller, I know, wants to keep his momentum going. Because in doing so, he's really going to show his stuff. And the big thing about starkiller is he plays in a lot of cups. He's very, very active. and honestly, just an all-around solid player. They've been talking about him for a while. He's in WCS Challenger a lot, and he looks to be showing why he is so powerful. It's just his builds are very hard to stop when you don't know what he's doing. And we'll have to see how he's going to handle that this game, as spawning in the top corner of the map. I don't want overlays. It is Starkiller. Currently up and looking to get farther against the Purple Terran, QXC. Now, it does look like out of QXC, we're just going to be seeing a gas first, which could tell us that he is looking to go a bit more tech-focused in this game, which would be a good choice, especially against that early aggression that we might see out of Starkiller. But as you can see, that gas was just a feint. He loves doing the gas trick to give himself a little bit of extra money in the early game. I'm not actually sure if it works out, and honestly, I think it just costs you a bit more than it gives you. But that's just me. I don't know the Zerg race as well as I should in terms of that. That's a little bit of a nuanced thing. So if you're a Zerg in the chat, let me know what you think. Does it help? Do you just like doing it because it's pretty much tradition at this point? Or does it just hurt you too much? But QXC going for a bit of a weird scouting pattern. It's starting to make me wonder if it is a scout at all. I have to see what he's going to be rallied to there. As he's going to just be going for that normal stuff. Not really going to be too worried, it looks like, in this game. Probably feels pretty powerful right now, knowing that it has gone a lot longer since an attack has come his way. Or that he's attacked, rather. All up scouting information from the Reaper will confirm that this is a pretty normal build out of Starkiller for the time being. But I'm sure Starkiller's got something for a map of this caliber. Like I said, it's a bit of a longer map. The third base is decently exposed, just because you do have another way to get to it as an attacking player. But overall, it is a bit difficult to get to that position without being spotted as long as your creep is on point. So that's really going to be Starkiller's plan here, is to get that creep spread going. And I'm interested to see what he does. The Reaper going to come up once again, but can't get any scouting information. Sees absolutely nothing. Doesn't see the fast lair. And we're going to have to see how many gases Starkiller takes here. Because 4 gases, it's probably going to be mutilus once again. If it's less than that, it's either Hydralisks or Roaches. And right now, I'm starting to lean towards Roaches in this game. The fact that he doesn't have a third hatch either may be a tell that this is Nidus. Now QXC will have to scout, will have to kind of recognize that. He probably wants to drop a scan, just because the thing about Nidus is when you're pumping this many Hellions, as he's doing, it's very difficult to defend against any kind of roach play, but these Hellions actually do get in and spot everything before going down, only getting 2 workers, but the more important thing is he sees that is a fast lair. Now, will he recognize what that means? Right now, it does mean Mutalisks. It's not going to be a Nidus play. It is just a 2 base Muta. So he's going to be looking to abuse the fact that this is a large map, and just kind of wants to pull his opponent apart slowly but surely. Who has to be careful there, losing too much. QXC getting a good scan down, sees the Spire building, so now he will be able to kind of mount a response here. No engineering bays, I don't believe, just yet. So he is going to have to get something that is anti-air. But right now, it doesn't look like he's responding to that right now. Reaper gonna be the sacrificial lamb here. More workers going down. And QXC just trying to put on the pressure now. Has to buy himself some time at home for when those mutalisks come out. Just going straight for the drones as well. He's not even focusing on the lings, but great hits right there. Awesome position. Does allow him to kill him anyway. And now he's just going to get out of there with a couple of those Hellions left to be more annoying. The medevac combo as well is just really nice, but that is getting very low. So its time is numbered as well, so once those mutalisks pop, I think that is going to be the end of this aggression. And QXC does now know it. He's got that engineering bay building, and he just needs to take this medevac and push it to the far reaches of the base, just to buy himself more time to get those turrets up. Doesn't buy himself a lot of time, but enough time, I think, to get at least one turret in the main. We'll have to see, as this is a very small force out of Starkiller. Not that scary, but obviously you don't have too much at home. Except for the Hellions, excuse me there. Vikings actually doing a pretty good job as well, so the mutalisks getting caught in between everything. They're starting to go down. Even a Widow Mine taking out another one of them. That is going to be very painful for Starkiller. His early aggression didn't really get too much done, and now that QXC is on 3 bases almost, it's going to be a little bit harder to do anything versus this. One thing I'm kind of questioning a little bit is the choice to just pump out Vikings one at a time. The thing about that is, Vikings aren't really the best versus mutalisks, especially in higher numbers, just because the mutalisks obviously have splash damage. And just that's kind of telling me that you either want to get a reactor on that, or you just want to stop making Vikings for the time being and maybe focus on Thors instead. These Widow Mines just doing really good work for QXC as well. He's got them scattered all around his bases, getting a lot of those mutalisks killed or going down total. And really, what is Starkiller's reaction to this? He's already gone into Roach Tech. So he's already knowing that this is some sort of mech, and he is just going to try and force his opponent to overreact to the mutalisks before going for that ground-based style. And it looks like QXC is taking the bait a little bit. He's getting Thors, which versus Roaches, not the best. As I'm sure a bunch of you meching players on the ladder do know, Thors against large numbers of Roaches just don't do too well. Already a lot of units in position as well, so this run by not going to do too much. He's just kind of scouting around with them for right now and forcing the mutalisks to chase because he does not want to lose too many workers right now. And overall, yeah, this is just very mass Thor style from QXC, which makes me worried. Does he know that it is a Roach switch? So far, once again, he just doesn't really have much scouting information. And these Roaches might actually blindside him as Starkiller's going for a very crisp 1-1 attack with him. Is there really any splash damage with this army? It doesn't look like it. A couple of Widow Mines are scattered around, so he will have to rely on them. But the Roaches in the back actually going to clean this up as well. QXC now knows the kind of trouble he's in. 12 Ravagers on the production tab. And he's got to be thinking to himself, oh no, what do I do? He's got the siege tanks on production tab, but they're not going to be in position for this first attack. Eric's going to get a little bit of a scout off, but he doesn't really have that much here. I want to focus down the wall a little bit so that he can get in there, because he's given a lot of time for the Sea Shanks to get into position. It's just barely in range. However, the wall is not complete, and it looks like Starkiller bobbling it a little bit, losing a lot of units very early on, but I think in terms of this, he does have enough. He's going to just crash through this position, and GG is called once again. A very dominant first couple of games from Starkiller, really showing that he can play those mind games with the best of them. And QXC just unfortunately unable to respond. He went a little bit too hard, focusing on those Mutalisks, and as a result, he wasn't ready for the follow-up attack. So we're going to see what the next map is. And while I'm figuring that out for you guys, I got another sponsor for you guys to check out. GameStop. They've always brought the power to the player, but now they are bringing the power to the esports competitor. With those Matcherino quests, you can add prize pools just by going to their website and checking out their new initiatives, which are focusing on coaching and helping out the players. They currently actually have a new training center for, I believe, Complexity Gaming. But they built that for the team, and you guys get a chance as well to check everything out on their website while donating to the pool at the same time. So, GameStop, it's in the game. That's EA, excuse me. GameStop, power to the player. Just waiting for QXC. So he's just giving us a couple of seconds. He might not know that it is his choice. 1 second, guys. I gotta go off camera for a second. And he messaged in the wrong chat, so we are gonna go with New Repugnancy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, so excuse me. But another kind of standard map in the pool. Nothing really too crazy about it. It's got a shorter rush distance than some of the other maps, but there is a very problematic center area for the larger armies. You know, it's very difficult to maneuver. It's really going to rely on players' micro ability, and you really got to look out for the rocks. Those are the big kicker. You can open up so many different attack paths, so sneak attacks are going to be probably the name of the game here for at least one of these guys. So we'll have to see. Will QXC adapt to the conditions, or will Starkiller go up 3-0? I don't know about you guys, but I am excited to find out. So let's hop right into game. And as you can hear on the timer, see right over there, we're good to go. And good. So he is currently down 2-0, but definitely not out. It is Eon's End QXC. Eon's End obviously being his board game that you guys kickstarted way back in the day. And his opponent down here, he's not playing board games, he is playing StarCraft 2. Is Starkiller. Now, Starkiller is going for that gas first, so we should be seeing that spawning pool drop in a couple of seconds here. QXC not really doing anything too crazy. He's just got that standard Rax first approach. And overall, we'll have to see if he knows what's coming. The fact that this is a pool first kind of tells me that Starkiller wants to go across the map, maybe deny the command center first. But past that, it's anyone's guess. Because Starkiller really is a crazy player, and you can't take anything away from him in that regard. He knows how to get into your head, and he will get into your head at least one point in a series. Alright, this SCV is going to scout around. He really wants to get an eye on this. It does look like, yeah, he's not really going to be too aggressive with this. He does pull off of gas, so no roaches for him. But behind this, we'll have to see what QXC knows. He did throw down his expansion on the lower base, so it's going to be a little bit dicey to keep that. He will need to either A, keep his Reaper at home, which it does look like he's doing. He's also going to pump out a Marine as well. Ooh, actually 6 more Lings on the production tab. It's a little bit dicey for QXC now. I don't think that command center is going to finish anytime soon. And he knows something is up, definitely. He is going to throw down a bunker right there in the... right there. Speed about halfway complete as well. So Starkiller actually going very aggressive with this. I was not expecting it, and I guess no one else did as well, because here we go. All those Lings are going to start rushing in. He wants to get the Reaper. That is the most important thing right now. Because that Reaper can regenerate its health, but maybe if he cancels the bunker, this lower base will have to be forfeit. So far, wall goes down, so that Reaper is going to have a little bit more work cut out for him. And this actually isn't too bad for him. Just the fact that he did take a lot of health off of these guys. But unfortunately, the fact is, Starkiller is just going to continue going with this. He's droning up behind it, but so much damage is done already. 4 workers going down. This is a huge nuisance. It's delaying mining time as well as killing workers. So this is a really good start for Starkiller. Even getting that bunker to cancel up. Cyclone going to help clean this up, as Lings aren't going to do too much against it. Especially not on the high ground. Behind this, like I said, Starkiller is just going to be droning up. He's not going to go too much further with this. And QXC, fortunately, he's a little bit scrambled. You can kind of tell just because he doesn't have anything else up on the production tab other than units. Right now, you want to be getting either a starport, a second Rax, just something to help spend your money. Looks like it actually is just going to be a third CC, try and get back into it economically. We do see Starkiller's favorite units coming out here in a little bit. Like, there are a lot of fun games, actually, to see Starkiller play when he goes roaches. I remember, I believe it was Season 1 versus Masa, where he went for a very good Roach Hydra play, where he initially caught Masa very off guard and almost killed him, but unfortunately went a little bit too far, and unfortunately lost the game, but it was still a very fun thing to see. What a player like Starkiller is very capable of. Again, going down, seeing that there still is no lair. So he's feeling a little bit safer now, but he's still got to be very careful. There won't be any roach speed, so anything that happens to these guys is going to be very difficult. He does get a scan down on the roaches, and what will he throw down? Anything right now to help this. Does not look like anything other than what he's got. fact that there is no urge speed is going to help him out a lot, but those slings, if they can get us around on these cyclones, it's going to be very bad for him. And he does get us around on 2 of them. The Hellions help 1 escape, but it does eventually go down. This is looking like a lot for Starkiller. Now this natural is forfeit once again. Even getting some really good biles off. GG is called once again. Starkiller loves the mid game. That's where he feels the most comfortable, and that's where he's choosing to close out these games. QXC, just not able to respond just yet, but don't worry, guys. He's got 2 games left before he's out of it, and that is plenty of time for a comeback. Let's get these guys going once again. Automation, aka Automaton, going for a bit of a smaller map. Is he going to try something cheeky like game number 1? While we're talking about that, I hope you guys are having a fantastic time in the chat as well. QXC, a living legend, and it's always cool to see living legends come back. After all, this is the guy all killed I am MVP, or Incredible Miracle, I believe they're called, way back when Korea was the go-to for the only place to get top-level StarCraft. So it has been a few years, but you know what? You don't just walk that off in this industry. He's still an incredible player, and the fact that he's still so high up on the ladder really tells you how dedicated he is and how much work he can put in to anything he does. And like I've said a billion times in this today, if you want to support him, not only do you have the Matcherino codes, but you also have the fact that he is the owner and creator of Eon's End. You want to support him that way? I'm sure he would really appreciate you guys ordering his game and having some fun with your family. It's also solo player, or so I've heard. So if you don't want your friends coming over, you know, you got a messy apartment, you can always play it solo too. Let's see what's going on. But once again, we're gonna hop right into it. Getting a bit of admin work behind the scenes done on the side. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Cogs are spinning. That bar is complete. Here we go. Spawning in the top position. It's QXC. And his opponent on the warpath looking for blood. It is Starkiller. I have been muted this entire time, have I? Sorry about that, guys. I don't know when I got muted there, but basically I was saying the fact that he's going for a much more macro-intensive style will allow him to really reinforce himself a lot quicker. Uh, he can get those drones up a lot faster, so his pushes are going to be a lot more powerful. His queens just going to be off the charts with their creep spread. And overall, it's just a very solid style for him in this game, especially since in the first 3 games, he has been very, very aggressive. This Reaper gonna just dance around until that queen comes out. Getting that inject. And now we do see the starport coming in play once again, so everything's just standard out of these guys. Nothing too important to note right now. I have those Hellions coming across the map. It looking to be either a Raven or a Banshee coming up as well. A little bit delayed with that tech lab. And so it won't be too much here. Starkiller. It's got the Peeper Lord at the natural base, so anything that comes out, he will see it. And the Hellions kind of just taking a time, letting the Reaper heal up, because, you know, being a Reaper is tough. The whole job is pretty much getting pecked at by Zerglings or shot at by Stalkers. It's just a tough one, so they need to give him a little R&R, and there he goes, back to work, before getting caught. And I think that's worth a little bit of workman's comp for him there. Depends on what state he's in. Now the Overlord gonna come in and see exactly what is up. UXC not getting cloak here, so that is really a bit of a mind game as well. He doesn't want his opponent to know that cloak is on the way. So we'll see. Once that Overlord is dead, he'll probably continue on and start cloak maybe. Okay, it doesn't look like he is actually going to go for cloak. Just going to be a little bit of a small commitment here. And will Starkiller throw down the spores is the big question, because right now he does not really need them. This Queen's doing very good work as well. And once again, it is looking to be mech. UXC trying to stick to his guns, what he knows best. Missing a lot of timing here, unfortunately. He's focusing really hard on these Hellions, which are getting caught out on the center. Unfortunately, that makes the Banshee just lose a lot of its effectiveness. He could have been in here a long time ago getting drone kills, but now it does look like QXC's map presence is diminished quite heavily. For a couple of seconds, anyway. Now with the reinforcing Hellions, obviously he is going to be back king of the roost. As we do see the lair coming down. And a Scan as well. He just wants to see what's up. Actually cancels the lair as well. That was the second lair. Oh my gosh, that was a mind game and a half. Does QXC actually know? No, so far he's only seen hatcheries, so he doesn't know that there is already a lair on the way. That was actually a little bit sick here. Unless it was just a mistake. But even then, it's still pretty sick. Sick mistake. Really liking the queens coming out on the map as well. Doing a very good job of spreading that creep. Like I said, the rush distance isn't that long on this map. So it's very easy to get your creep into all the different paths that units can take, making it very hard for your opponent to sneak up on you in any way, size, shape, or form. Once again, QXC not paying attention to his units. He's going to lose all of those Hellions once again. Never want to see that happen as a Terran player. Queen's going to come in as well. Take that out. And now we're going to see a couple of Thors being brought out as Starkiller realizes its mech and is just going to go straight for that infestation pit and almost certainly hive behind it. Now, the fact that he's getting Thors would be a little iffy to me once again, because we did see in game number 2 that he wasn't ready for the swap, but this time he might actually be in a much better position as we do see the Spire coming down. I don't think Mutalisks are going to be on the task here, but Thors actually do pretty well against Broodlords, especially with such a big Hellion buffer. Essentially what those Hellions do is they make it so that those Broodlords don't get on top of the Thors and allow the Thors, with their massive range, to just shoot down as many as possible, especially with Viking support. So overall, this attack is going to be big for QXC. It's going to be a hard reset if it gets picked off, but there isn't that much here for... Oh no, Starkiller. Going to be completely caught off guard with this attack. He has no vision on the other side of the map. And here we see it, a little bit of panic probably going on Starkiller's face right now. As those tanks siege up, he's going to need to do some very big surrounds. And here we go, the Banelings. Not getting the best connections right now, but he's going to clean up a lot of the Hellbats. Not much left here, unfortunately, but another big wave of Banelings. Okay, so the cleanup, actually not too bad here, but it's still not done. Trying to get the Banelings in position once again. It's going to be up to his reinforcing Lings in order to finish this off. QXC is just going to back out of there. So like I said, a bit of a reset of that Hellion count is going to make those Broodlords coming out a lot more powerful, especially losing the Thor. Honestly, you probably didn't even need to bring that along with you, knowing that it was mainly Zerglings. So a bit of a misstep on both sides. But overall, a little bit better for Starkiller to clean that up. But this next big attack might be a better killing blow, as there are way more tanks and way more defense for them. Yeah, and a lot of those Lings going down before the fighting even starts. He has to abandon the base. Just a huge swell of units. And the Ultralisk is going to get picked off a little bit. Chitinous plating is not done, so he can't fight those tanks just yet. And overall, this is a very strong position for QXC. It's going to be very difficult to break. It's mostly Ultralisks coming out for Starkiller. I'm a bit skeptical of that choice, since he does have that Greater Spire up and ready to go. But QXC is just going to push nice and slow. He does not really want to overextend here and lose everything again. And I think the way he's doing it is just fine. But ultra speed as well coming in. Huge surround. Going to start cleaning this up. Loses a lot of the Banelings in the process, but now that the Ultralisks can go toe-to-toe with the tanks, they are not going to be stopped. The transfuse as well as saving all of them. An excellent cleanup once again, but the Vikings going to come in here and try and do some more damage before finally getting taken out. The Banelings not going to do the cinematic fight there. They know better. They saw how that ended. They're instead going to get out of there, but they are still pretty trapped. Luckily for QXC, he does have a lot of units back at home, but it's still a little bit dicey now that Starkiller is going to have an almost maxed out army, and the fact that Broodlords can come out at any time. It's not that much anti-air anymore. Really just the tech switches that Starkiller is doing that's doing such a fantastic job catching QXC off guard. Once again, we see Thor's on the production tab. And I lost my train of thought there just for a second because these Hellions just doing so much work. They're killing off 15 workers. That is a good way to get himself back into this game. Losing these Vikings, however, not the best for him. Starkiller actually has 99 units or workers, 103. So that's why his army doesn't really look that big. He's very intensive in supply in that regard. Behind this, he's just double expanding everywhere on the map. He wants QXC to know, this is my turf. From now on, you play by my rules. You go out on the map, I'm already there. Although I gotta say, his creep spread a bit lackluster just because he hasn't really respread it after the fights. So that's a bit of a mistake as well, but all these stores, oh my goodness. I don't even think Starkiller's thinking about getting Broodlords yet. He does have the Greater Spire, I believe. Yeah, he does have it, so they can come out at any point. But so again, Starkiller's just gonna start moving out once again. Has to be careful. Although those Ultralisks are pretty fast on creep now, they're still not the best thing. But here we go. Once again, he's just gonna try and pounce onto his army. Siege tanks doing work. The Thors finishing everything off. So that has to be some sort of supply trade here, because you do not just sacrifice that many Ultralisks unless you got something on the back burner. Still no Broodlords on the way, and he probably sees just the amount of Thors. I'm kind of skeptical about getting just pure Ultralisk here, but we'll have to see if it works for him. QXC once again on the warpath, wants to reestablish his position. And one thing I just thought of that might be funny, I don't know if QXC knows about servos, the upgrade that allows his units to transform much quicker, since that is a relatively new invention in Legacy of the Void even. Mainly's gonna come right in and just detonate on these Thors, do what they can. They also are gonna start trying to clean up the tanks, but it's just not enough. QXC holds on to this position, and these Hellbats gonna come around, try and force Starkiller's attention to a different part of the map. While he does get cleaned up over here, he's still gonna get a few drones. Wondering what he's focusing on here. He might have F2'd right there. So action's starting to go all over the map. Cleaned up once again, Starkiller. I don't think QXC knows that this base is here just yet. It's really just there for larva at the time being. He will be taking that gold base, looking to get a bit of a mineral boost, as he's kind of broke from making all these Thors. Just so many Thors. I think they're doing fantastic against the Ultralisks as well. Now that Liberator's on the way, I don't think this Ultralisk composition is long for this world. But we'll have to see. Starkiller has surprised us all before at one stage in his career. I think he just revealed it. Oh my gosh. The Queen actually moved. Cyclones coming on down. and sieging up once again while sending a small Hellbat drop, trying to get the drones at this base location, but this is the main brunt of the attack. Looks like Starkiller is just going to go for it, or he's getting ready for a surround. He just has to pick his battlefield wisely here. Corruptor's doing a nice job against the Liberators. They need to siege up. Blinding Clouds actually preventing a lot of these units from attacking. And it's actually going to get cleaned up once again. This is getting very expensive for QXC, especially since now sieging up, he's going to lose these Liberators. Or at least most of them anyway. Oof. So, well, he did lose 9 workers to a bit of a small run by. But overall, he just keeps cleaning up this very expensive QXC army. It's hard to say how long QXC can keep it up in terms of this production. Bases are starting to mine out. Just a few mineral patches there, a few there. Main, just a couple more. This is his only real mining base, as he still hasn't really done too much with this. Take a look at the income supply, actually. It's barely in QXC's favor, only because of those mules. These run bys really keeping QXC in the game as well. He's not out by any means. So if I sound a bit negative about it, I'm not really meaning to. He's still got a chance. All he's got to do is kind of pull Starkiller around on the map. A Liberator is going to come over here, try and set up a position to kill off this base. And the Corruptors will have to back off. Another F2, it looks like, for Starkiller, are going to move as quickly as possible across the map. And while he will lose this base... Oh no, actually Starkiller is just going to fight right into it. Blinding Cloud's going to try and do what they can. Parasitic Bomb as well, going to take out a lot of these clumped up Liberators. But it's still just not enough, it looks like. Those Corruptors are going to start falling like flies as once again QXC going to do a bit of a Liberator push. So overall, this is just a really scrappy NA style game. Both sides going blow for blow with each other. And neither side really wanting to admit defeat here. Although Starkiller is starting to run low in both funds and workers. He's currently only at 66. As a Zerg player, you want to stay around 80 if you can. These are the first Broodlords of the game. Let's hope they're not the last for him. There's not a lot of Hellbats with this army. The Broodlords can do a good job of kind of just forcing the AI of the Thors to kind of derp out a little bit. But I don't think QXC is actually going to be expecting this tech switch. Or if he is, it's not really going to show it just yet. See, now QXC is starting to run a little bit low on the minerals as those bases are really just now mining out. Scans going down, going to reveal what this army composition is. Those Thors need to stay in the back. They got to get buffered for. Otherwise, it is all futile. Corruptor count is going to go up as well. I would like to see a few more upgrades on them as you really do need them to stay toe-to-toe with the Vikings, who are currently on +2 attack. And they have some very good armor as well. Really needs more gas as well. That does Starkiller because he's running very, very low on it. Making all these very expensive gas units. 6 kills on this Liberator, but it's not going to be long for this world. Maybe 3 more. Good job. It did its job. So these run-bys by QXC are still doing a lot of work, and honestly, Hellbat's very much the kind of unit that you can just throw away, as they are basically just minerals, and as you can see, QXC has quite a few of those. But I'm guessing at this point, both players are going crazy, just thinking, how am I going to kill this guy? Looks like Starkiller is going to get the first surround. Scan going down, revealing this army, so QXC is going to back off for right now. But will it be enough? Starkiller going to just try and focus down this base. Looks like he will get it, but he's leaving his Broodlords a little bit exposed. Yeah, he's not going to get the base. He's just going to back on out of there. Loses a couple on the retreat. Actually going to fight in a very big choke point here, so the Broodlords going to go to town on this army. Those doors are starting to fall, but so are the Broodlords. It's very close, but it looks like there is just enough on the ground for QXC to ensure all the Broodlords are going to go down. Raptor's going to come in, see what they can do. Get a bit of a scout, but there is just anti-air everywhere in this base. And try and focus down the production. If he gets that, he might have a better chance in this game, as right now he's only making Zerglings. Added in a couple of Ultralisks as I say that, though. That's actually pretty nice, getting a lot of the factories. You make it very difficult for him to recharge this army. Now he has to get out of there, and that's when he's going to lose a lot. Not that many original Corruptors left. Throwing away a couple of Thors now becomes much more dangerous. I think he's just going to come in for the full surround, and these siege tanks doing what they can. It's very close. Just kidding. Zerg cleans it up very, very easily here. And now QXC still has the supply lead, but he's throwing away units. It's going to be pure Vikings for the time. Now, Starkiller just going to be going for a ground-based comp. So all these little switches that he's doing is doing wonders for him, I believe. And get one of the only mining bases as well. Picks off another one. I want to focus down the SCVs. He does get most of them. And overall, it's kind of the end game here for both players. I'm not talking about Avengers endgame, I am talking about TVZ end the game. A lot of these Lings going to get cleaned up in the back, but they are the expendable ones. More Banelings taking out more SCVs, killing off one of the last mining bases once again. QXC is only long distance mining here. If you take a look at the income tab and the income graph, just going heavily into Starkiller's favor, even just getting more SCVs as they're trying to long distance mine. Starting to be the death throws here a little bit. I think QXC has one or two big pushes in him left. And I'll have to see if they work for him, because Starkiller just keeps remaxing as quickly as possible. Even only on 60 workers, he's able to do so. Raptors are going to get picked off in the sky. The Ultralisks actually going to get picked off in the ground, so Starkiller, he lost a bit much in that fight. The anti-armor missile doing fantastic work, so... Oh no. All those SCVs going down. So one thing to note about this game is Starkiller's just been taking a few bad engagements. That's really what's been keeping QXC in this. Now QXC's looking to mount a comeback as he's got more Thors on the way. Oh, this game is just incredible to watch, but it's also like watching two players headbutt each other over and over again. It's really hard to tell who is going to win. This push might actually be a little bit too much for Starkiller. take out the Liberators. Just massing his forces for right now. The two armies are going to finally meet. A bit of a surround. The Hellbats take out a large chunk of Zerglings on the side, and the Thors absolutely just clean up everything. And Starkiller really can't afford to remake that as eagerly as he'd like. Those mules helping out QXC much as well. This base is now going to be under fire, and that is the last mining base of Starkiller. And it looks like the Star is the one doing the killing in this game. Still just able to eke out a few more units, and this push, once again, it's like, it looked like a slow and painful death for QXC for a little bit there, but he really made it work in his advantage. Still doesn't even feel over, but for some reason it also does. It's like these players are still butting heads against each other, getting as much damage done against each other as possible, but yeah, as Starkiller, you can't afford to be throwing away units like this anymore. At first it was QXC throwing them away, but now the roles have reversed. It's getting a lot of workers, that's very nice, but it's not really what you can afford anymore. Bear's doing a very good job. That will not go down. Oh my gosh, one hit. But that's the last of the Ultralisks. He's got two more, and then he's done. I think QXC has done it. This might be the final push of the game and the start of a very strong comeback. Starkiller just scrambling for any minerals that he can get. Couple of bird lords, but there's just way too many Thors here. See that high impact payload, gonna make mincemeat of them. The transfusers doing what they can with that anti-armor missile. These guys are just gonna take way too much damage. I think GG is about to be called, and it is. QXC and his crazy Thor builds. It looked so dicey for him for so long, but somehow he was able to bring it back just by outlasting in the expensive unit game. That was absolutely crazy. Now, as Taste Toastist would say, get out your boats, ladies and gentlemen, because Port Alexander is gonna be our next map. And we are going to bring that map to you right after a word from our sponsors. Okay, I lied. We're still getting the game underway. So just getting QXC in here. All right, ready to go. Got a G, QXC. Now Starkiller's turn, and we will get this underway. Wait. Match 5, guys. Port Alexander. That means there's 2 maps left before we reset into the map pool. Still some awesome StarCraft on the way, so stick around, guys, as we get into game number 5. Hey, and an epic late game in the last one, spawning in purple. It's QXC. His opponent doing his famous extractor trick is our Red Zerg, Starkiller. I don't know why that keeps coming up. Sorry, guys. My hotkeys seem to change themselves every time I log in. And we do have a drone who has obviously gone to 24-hour fitness as he is sprinting across the map, looking to do one of Starkiller's lovely builds here. We saw this in the last Challenger season versus Epic of Psystorm Gaming, where he threw this down, and Epic was not able to react in a best time. And the question is Starkiller really going to be aggressive with this? You know, it's a crazy looking build, but at the same time, Starkiller doesn't always have to go anything off it, and indeed, it is just a 3 hatch before pool. A crazy build, so we'll have to see. Will QXC react right? The best thing to do is you do need to throw down a bunker, which he does on the low ground, which is pretty risky. If this was a very aggressive proxy hatch, then this bunker would be very hard to defend, as there would be spines coming up. But we still don't see a second base out of QXC, so it might be a little wasteful to get that bunker before you get that. A little bit of a lag spike there, no problems whatsoever. Starkiller does let that finish, and the bunker will be useful in this situation, however. Starport coming down as well. He's making a queen from this location, so that does kind of say that he wanted to spread some creep around and just kind of be annoying with this to not delay the natural as long as possible. But I don't think that's going to work this time. Even making the lings, which is a bit of a strange choice here, as I don't even know if the queen's going to get out. It's going to be very close. Yeah, it does decide to come on out. Tries to pick off a couple of Marines. Does not do so well on that. But he does get one of those creep tumors off, which is very nice, because that will delay the second CC, which, by the way, is only just now coming down. So, like I was saying for this, this is very crazy, but for Starkiller, you never know what to expect with it. He pretty much just throws you off your game with stuff like this, and behind it, he just does whatever the heck he wants. Now that has gone down, however, he's got to be a little bit careful, and you do see he throws down that spine crawler just to prevent any sort of counterattack, which is obviously his big concern, as those can be quite powerful versus this build. Fast lair as well. And other than that, this medevac is the only real thing going to happen in this game for the next couple of minutes, as Star will look to clean it all up. You see, deciding to go for a third CC behind all of this, making sure that he's spending his money quite efficiently, which is a pretty good choice, and he may actually get a lot of workers here. Depends on if he wants to dive. So far he decides not to. Does delay a lot of mining. Wants to drop right on top of that. It's not the Hellions, so he doesn't get those juicy shots just yet. This medevac will almost be cleaned up entirely here. Unless that happens. So, not losing a huge amount of drones. Currently, he's lost 5 in this game. But overall, this is still a bit annoying, because you do have to scan to get rid of it. I think he did blow a scan already to get rid of the active one. No, actually, he was not able to get that far away. So one scan does do it. And from here, it's just going to be Mutalisks and Mech. QXC found a working strategy, so he is just going to stick with it for as long as possible. Will Starkiller be caught off guard this time is the big question. Because I believe I was talking about it in the last game. Starkiller is a player who enjoys winning in the mid game. That's where he's at his most powerful. His strategies, very crisp, very close in timing, especially in terms of those roach plays where he can get 1-1 and 2-2 timing attacks out without too much of a hassle. It's the late game where he seemed to struggle quite a bit, getting all those Ultralisks and then losing them in those fights. See the medevac going towards the main base. Not much here other than a couple of scouting lings, who are going to be the first barbecue of the night. Splits on the drones. QXC just kind of being annoying here. Getting 3 workers so far, and he spots the Mutalisks as well. He instantly throws down that engineering bay and is going to prepare to get ready for what's going to be a very small set of units for the time being. The fact that he caught them is very good because now he can change things up a little bit. Getting a Widow Mine and a Thor in the backfield. But once again, might be it's a mistake so hard it just lagged the game. Actually, the Meal's going to come in and do very nice work. Thor only halfway complete, and there are 2 on the production tab. 1 missile turret does not complete. So these Mutalisks are just being annoying for the time being, blocking the fact that there are roaches on the way. It's getting 5 more to kind of make it look like he is going to he realizes it says sorry with a transfuse. But overall, this is looking a lot like what we saw on King's Cove. A big 1-1 timing attack with roaches might be the next little phase here, as QXC is just going to be going very heavily into anti-muta play. He's a bit late on getting his 3rd base up as well, so mutas can be annoying here for a little bit longer. Even just picking off the gases is very nice versus a meching player. Thors will be spread out enough now that he can, now that he sees it coming, to deal with the Mutalisks. Couple of huge shots going off right there. Not picking off too many, only losing 2 in that attack. But roach speed is about to complete. No upgrades on them just yet in terms of the 1-1. So he might just be looking to overwhelm his opponent, and it might actually work here. There's not much. Once again, it only suit 2 siege tanks, 2 more on the way. That is a lot of Ravagers. So what's going to happen? The Thors are going to be out front, it looks like, while the tanks in the back are going to try and do enough splash damage. But that's what the Mutalisks are for. Good read right there. Going to make sure that he does not lose those Widow Mines to some Ravager Biles. But here we go. One big Widow Mine hit a second big one, taking out the Mulisks very early in this fight. One Thor going to go down. The tanks are completely unsieged. A couple Ravager Biles going to take out another one of them, but QXC just taps out. He knows he did not have enough in that game to take down Starkiller. So Starkiller actually up 2 match point, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a very scary thing for QXC. You guys are enjoying this series so far. I know I am. Some very fun games coming out of these two players. And Starkiller just showing us what a beast he can be with his mind games. That's really what it all comes down to. He's done some very strong, very powerful builds that would catch pretty much anyone off guard. It's very hard to play against someone is just very unpredictable. And Starkiller is the most unpredictable North American Zerg there is out there at the time. Will this be it for our hero QXC, or will he rally and show why he is, and always will be, a legend in the SC2 community? Oh, by the way, if you guys didn't know as well, he's also created some micro maps. So if you play Terran, or I think there's also one for Protoss, he's made some micro maps for that. And honestly, he's just been all around in the StarCraft 2 community, very vocal. He casted back in 2014, I believe it was, as well. And he's just been everywhere. Kind of guy you really want to know in the community. Even when he left, he was never gone. Alright, so just having a little trouble getting Starkiller in the lobby. I'm gonna check my hotkey. Alright, let's get the last ready from QXC and get started on year 0. I gotta say, we are breezing through these games today, guys, and I hope they are as exciting to you guys as they are to me. And yeah, if you like this kind of thing, you always got Matcherino. Matcherino is the best SC2 supporter in the world right now. They do amazing work and allow you guys to pretty much give free money to these players just for playing the game we all know and love. And speaking of all we know and love, spawning in the top position, he's a couple of workers short here. It's QXC. This proxy brought to you by 24-Hour Fitness. Even if you're an SCV and work terrible hours in the mines, then you can always find a place from there and get the strength you need to go and do your job as a sprint across the map for proxies. His opponent, I did not forget about you. It is Starkiller. Now he's already getting a little bit prepared here with the spawning pool first. He has not seen what his opponent is up to just yet. So far it is going to be only two racks, so it's not completely all in, but it is Very, very sketchy. We did see in the first game, QXC was able to kill off the natural base, but will his luck reign supreme once again? Gonna not see the scouting SCV with that base. Actually, just gonna throw a bunker down. No, excuse me there, guys. A bunker down on the high ground, so be ready. We already have a couple of lings out, so QXC's got to be scrambling a little bit here. Wants to keep these workers alive for as long as possible. One of them goes down in the drone pull. He is going to try and save his base in this game. But he knows about the bunker on the high ground, but he's really focusing his defense down here on the low ground. Got to be careful not to push too far with those drones, because the reinforcing Marines will just do absolute shred of work on him. Big swell of lings is going to help out as well. He does not want that bunker to finish, and he's just going to pull everything. Trying to defend this. Already 8 workers going down. QXC taking a huge worker advantage. So far this push is semi-successful. He has not been able to get that second base, however, and that is his main objective. Still going to be pumping units as well, so he's not done with this attack just yet. He has to wait for enough money to get a factory as well as his second CC to kind of macro his way out of it. Question is, I don't think Starkiller will let him do so. So he's going to be rallying across the map and just pouring lings into this, it looks like. Already 6 more on the production tab. He especially wants to catch those Marines going on home. You get that kind of pick off, then you will be in a much better position. And actually, those Marines did not go home at all. And that Overlord is kind of nice, forcing the repair as well. But yeah, I don't think Starkiller is going to get too much done here anymore. He can't really fight these Marines either with the small number of lings that he has. And overall, this is pretty much just there to make sure that QXC stays in his base from now on. In terms of workers, Starkiller is still very far down. And behind this, it really does look like he is just going to go all in with this attack. A couple more drones on the production tab, but that Baneling nest tells the real story. It has been scouted. It has not.
Command center upgrade complete.
So without knowing about that, he can't know about what is about to hit him. Will Starkiller have enough? The next big swell of lings is on the way. Pretty much just a game of chicken here. Who will blink first, Starkiller or QXC? The nest is done. He's just going to come in and get a full surround on all of these units. That is a huge pickoff, and he's going to get out of there with most of the lings. Try and force the Hellions to come on out as well. But nice pickup on medevac there. Still not even morphing Banelings. He doesn't even care. There we go. He is looking to end this game right here, right now. Will he be able to do it is the big question. It's going to come down to the micro of QXC. What few units he has, this is going to be his last-ditch effort. Already pretty good here. He wants to focus fire down those Banelings. Not going to be able to get them. All 3 supply depots going down. And, oh, no, no, no. The floodgates have opened. The last of the Hellions is coming through. Big Baneling connections. And that is going to be it. Starkiller is your Alpha Pro Series champion. Absolutely fantastic games. It looks like new blood trumps the old guard this time. And I hope you guys enjoyed those games as much as I did. You know who else enjoys games? GameStop. With power to the players, always making sure that you guys have the best gear, the best esports experience of your life. They have so many good offers. If you go to the sponsor quest on the Match Reno page, you will get some great offers as well as expand the prize pool and help out these players as much as possible. And you can also get some goodies for yourself. So once again, that is GameStop. Power to the players. And with that, we don't have much else here. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. GG to Starkiller. Amazing games from QXC. Welcome back to the community. We've been waiting for you. And other than that, I've been Passer. You can find me at twitter.com/passer2300 if you like what I did here. And you like Alpha X, what they're doing, make sure to give them a follow on this channel, on their Twitch. Just follow them everywhere. Like, they're doing great. They're doing great work. Big shout outs to them and all our sponsors once again, 24 Hour Fitness and GameStop. So I'd like to thank you guys once again for tuning in, and we will see you at the next big event. Have a good night.